Welcome to Conversations from Stritch. Today is Thursday, November 13th. I'm Dr. David Livingston, president of Lewis University, and I'm joined by Dr. Christopher Sint, our provost. It's been a really busy week. I got to tell you, these weeks are incredibly stuffed with activities and exciting things. Yesterday was the extended community hour that featured our third annual All Fest. All Fest is a celebration of faiths and cultures and traditions. We had a lovely all-faith prayer service before our community lunch, which featured cuisines from all over the world. I was mentioning to Chris yesterday at this that I really hope that students that went there took pictures, and if you want to know who these restaurants are, because the fun thing to do is to go out on a Friday night, tomorrow night, with 3 or 4 of your friends and go to one of those restaurants and enjoy a meal at a, Asian restaurant, a South Asian restaurant, a Mexican restaurant. Anyway, enjoy it because it was a great day. We also had a lively campus visit day on Saturday, hosted over 170 prospective students and families. These are high school students, transfer students, so from community colleges or from the local high schools or from high schools all over the country. Really grateful to everybody that participated on the staff side, and really excited about potentially welcoming those students next fall. The Institute for Workforce Education had its fall graduation this last Saturday. We celebrated and honored 100 graduates from the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity Illinois Works pre-apprentice program and the McCormick Foundation Workforce Initiative in Little Village. Javier's there in that picture, welcoming the guests. We filled the St. Augustine College Hall in Uptown, and great support for our graduates. We're really excited about that. We also hosted the Associated Colleges of Chicago Area, ACCA, the 2025 Pedagogy Symposium at our Oak Brook campus. This professional development event featured a keynote address by Dr. Mesmin Destin from Northwestern University, along with 28 parallel presentations and 2 workshops. 75 faculty from 16 different colleges and universities participated. So a lot going on. Thank you to everyone who contributed on Thursday to the success of the Kevin Spees lecture, which featured Scott Likens. We drew over 350 students, faculty, and staff to that event. And shortly after, the Kim and Mary Claire Shapaniak lecture featured Illinois Poet Laureate Mark Turcotte, which attracted more than 125 attendees. It was another great event. Chris and I both enjoyed both of those events. I do want to talk about something that was a little more difficult last week and just make sure we're clear on this. We sent this out in multiple communications, emails from me, meetings across campus, but we did implement a series of strategic measures to address the imbalance between our expenses and our enrollment revenue. The actions included a 10% reduction in the university's workforce, and they really are designed to create a vibrant future dealing with a concerning present in which our revenues and our expenses were misaligned. Like many institutions across the country, we've been affected by significant external factors. We tried to make this very clear in my announcements and in the way we've talked about it, but international student enrollment was impacted by the federal government not approving visas. And we went from around 1,400 students to about 900 students. That was a significant drop. We had grown our international population. It was a really great thing. We were very proud of our ability to serve students from around the world. But that changed this summer. We still have 900 students, but it has changed. The workforce adjustments are really a part of a broader reorganization to support the future of Lewis University. We really believe in that. We combined early retirements, which people had an opportunity to take advantage of. We had vacant positions that we won't be refilling. We did non-renewals of some faculty contracts, and we eliminated some staff positions. All of that will position us for fiscal year 27. And, Chris, talk about fiscal years, but that means from the summer of 2026 through the summer of 2027. That's how our fiscal year runs, and we expect to have a balanced budget next year. that's really important to us. A balanced budget is something that we focus on a lot at the university, and it's something that we want everybody that's a part of the university community to feel confident in. We really hate having to do these things, and it's necessary to have a balanced budget, and it's necessary to have a strong university moving forward, and we feel that we have positioned ourselves for that. So I know it was a tough week and there's some lingering concerns over it, but I don't want the concerns to be, is Lewis spiraling down? Because Lewis is not spiraling down. We did some tough actions, and we're now positioned next year to continue to reinvest in our future. So let's turn it over, as is always the case. Chris has a lot of things to brag about because we have so many impressive people that are a part of our community.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that and all of those amazing events that you described. I think I went to almost all of them, and it really was an inspiring week to be here. I was at the campus visit day, so I wasn't able to go to that IWE graduation, but if anyone ever has an opportunity, just looking at those pictures reminded me that if anyone ever has an opportunity to attend an IWE graduation, we do them on this campus in Romeoville as well as in the Uptown campus. It is really inspiring, and that photograph of what I presume to be a graduate with his 2 children and spouse and so on, celebrating, really having a transformative moment in his ability to have a professional life that is really meaningful is really inspiring. So I'm going to share a couple of new pieces of news. This is something that's been out in some of the emails for a couple weeks, but I feel like we haven't really given it enough attention. So I just wanted to share it again, that we have been recognized as an opportunity college and university, higher access, higher earnings by the Carnegie Foundation for the Advancement of Teaching and the American Council on Education. So those are 2 of the most distinguished organizations in the country when it comes to higher education. And they have about 5 years ago, they came together recognizing that a lot of the times that universities in America, when they get recognition, it's often really traditional ways of describing what it means to be prestigious. Research done at a high level, like at places like Harvard or something like that, or being really selective. And this category really recognizes people like universities like Lewis, who take students from what we call the peripheries, or people who have been economically disadvantaged early in their lives or in their family lives, and makes through getting educated at Lewis and getting a degree, leads to very high earnings after graduation. So it's a category that we care about a lot because it really follows our mission, and that we are super good at, and have really great outcomes around. So we're part of only the top 16% of universities in America were identified this way by the Carnegie classification, and only one of 6 private, not-for-profit universities in Illinois to earn this distinction. And I'm really happy about it. According to the Carnegie Foundation, Lewis demonstrates both higher access, enrolling a substantial share of students from low-income and underrepresented backgrounds, and higher earnings as graduates earn more than comparable peers nationwide. More than 40% of our undergraduates received Pell Grants, approximately 50% are first-gen college students, and our graduates achieved 23% higher median earnings 10 years after graduation than the national average. That is a really big percentage to be above the national average. Our outcomes reflect a strong emphasis on applied learning, internships, partnerships with regional employers, all leading to great professional outcomes. Also, we're really honored to be included this year in the Princeton Review Guide to Green Colleges 2026 edition. The online resource profiles 388 colleges that foster a culture of environmental responsibility and demonstrate a commitment to sustainability. The Princeton Review chose colleges based on their sustainability-related policies and practices and programs, and also surveyed students attending college about their green campus experience. The Princeton Review noted in particular our academic programs, and our standout record of environmentally sensitive practices. So a couple individual congratulations. Congratulations to Professor Vesna Markovic, who has co-authored with Charlie Grady a book called Reducing Recidivism Through Restorative Justice, published by Spring, which explores how a community-based program in Connecticut can provide valuable insights on how restorative justice can reduce recidivism. This particular volume illustrates the impact of safe environments have had on ex-offenders, as well as also on their families, friends, and community as they re-enter society by offering a variety of examples of successful program elements. So that's a great publication by someone who's been on the show a couple times, doing great research around both incarceration and community wellness. Congratulations to our alumna, Gabriela Lopez Semenyaku, who received the 40th Annual Educationis Lumen Award on November 6th. I was happy to be there for that. It was a really fun night at the Kappa Delta Pi National Professional Association and Honor Society Educators Initiation Ceremony. She is from the class of 19 and has been teaching at the elementary school since she earned her bachelor's degree here in elementary education. Her nominator and principal, Lily Smith, is also a Lewis alum from, I think, 2010-ish time, and she said about Gabby, Gabby stands as an exemplary kindergarten teacher who possesses that rare combination of natural talent and strategic expertise that makes her irreplaceable in our educational community. So it was really fun to see both the principal and the winner of the award are Lewis alums, and we saw some great video of Gabby teaching her kindergarten class. It was super cool. And then congratulations, I feel like we do this every year. Congratulations to Jet Fuel Review editors who received a College Media Association Pinnacle Award for Best Literary Magazine Cover for the second year in a row. This year, the student-run magazine won second place in the cover category for issue number 29, which was last spring's edition. The Pinnacle Awards recognize the best student work in collegiate journalism, media production, and organizational experience, and winners are selected by a panel of experienced media professionals. Layout editors Catherine Fatigato, Jimena Araiza, and Catherine Svella designed the cover with the help of art and design editor Nicole Kaminsky, who chose the cover art called The Shared Uncertainty of Experience by Na-Yoon Amelia Cha Ryu, a high school student based in South Korea. Really cool. Congratulations to Lewis's Clinical Mental Health Counseling Program, which was the recipient of the Illinois Counseling Association's Leo G. Brent Outstanding Professional Counseling Program in Illinois Award. Some qualities of that include multiple faculty members who are active members of the ICA and the American Counseling Association, a commitment to quality professional counseling and standards. A 90% job placement rate in this program of graduates has a really increased awareness of Lewis's program, and since 2021, Lewis University's Clinical Mental Health Counseling Program has been accredited by the Council for Accreditation of Counseling and Related Educational Programs, which we call KCREP. We talk about it all the time. Demonstrating exemplary professional counseling practices, including an emphasis on ethical, culturally sensitive, and state-of-the-art practices that meet the needs of current and potential students. And last, artwork by Devin Ingram is on display at the Brent and Jean Wadsworth Gallery through November 25th, with a reception and gallery talk tonight at 7:30. His work has been described as expressive and emotional, using a variety of media and reflecting his life experiences, capturing themes of tragedy, love, pain, and joy. I'm going to go over to that tonight. Looking forward to it, and you're going to let us know about a bunch of other events going on this week.
I'm going to run through these events. We, again, have a lot going in the upcoming week as we lead into the Thanksgiving break, which will come the following week. But this is, as we talked about last week, was incredibly intense, and this coming week is also really intense. So just a few things that'll show up on the screen. So today, we have there's a translanguaging theory and practice event happening right after the show at 1 o'clock. We also have the Sigma Delta Pi induction ceremony. The Billy Kerner Sustainability Through the Potawatomi Lens. I'm planning on trying to attend that this afternoon if I can get away from my office. And over in the Gaffney, there's a craft project, Oh Gnome, that you can see on there. I don't know exactly what that is. And then the art reception tonight, which I'm going to also swing by. I don't think I'm going to stay for the whole talk because of another event that I want to go to tonight. Tomorrow, Safe Zone Ally training is happening, Pilates and yoga, which is pretty normal. And then getting into our conversation later today, Airness is going to be have their opening night tomorrow night, and then women's volleyball hosting Drury on Friday night, and then they're also hosting Saturday, Southwest Baptist. Club hockey will be hosting DePaul. That should be a fun matchup. And then both on Saturday night and Sunday afternoon, the play in the Philip Lynch Theatre, Airness, which we'll be talking more about. Of course, Mass on Sunday night. And then as we get into next week, we have some bingo, the Cyber Defense Club that you can see on there. The Jazz Quartet will be playing in the Darcy Dining Room. And then we have several events happening on Tuesday and Wednesday, but County Line Dancing and Table Tennis Club, as well as Creative Expression Support Space. So a lot going on Tuesday. And then when you get into Wednesday, we have, again, our community hour. And lots going on there. Trainings, the Undocu-Ally training, short film series that's taking place here in our new film area where our movie theater is. But art and design party. It's just a lot of stuff going on over that community hour. So a lot happening. We're really excited about that. In terms of athletic travel, this is where you have to get on your app and watch it. Basketball will be traveling to the GLVC GMAC Challenge. They'll be taking on Malone and Tiffin. Women's basketball will go up to Michigan Tech and Northern Michigan. And then men's and women's swimming will be taking on Findlay and Hillsdale at Findlay. So a lot going on next week. Much to be excited about. And Chris, we're excited about our guests because over the next 2 weeks, we have our new play coming.
Yeah, I withheld information about the new play until now. So we're going to share that a little bit. Before I do that, so gnome decorating, if you didn't know,
I
which
didn't
obviously
know.
you
Tell
didn't,
me.
you were given a gnome and you decorate it.
All right.
That's going on in the Gaffney Center this afternoon, with paint and
Feathers?
other stuff.
Can I put
I
glue
obviously
feathers
don't know
on
how to
it?
do it either. I thought I knew what it was. And then the other thing, I don't know if we've ever done this before. I've never noticed it before, but that other thing, I think it's happening at exactly the same time, is if you go to the Brown Dining Hall to eat, the Jazz Quartet is playing.
Well, they're playing at Darcy in the Gaffney Center.
They're playing at it's the dining room. It's called the Darcy Dining Room.
The Darcy Dining Room. Yeah.
So one of those side rooms.
Yeah.
So this jazz band's going to be playing while you eat dinner in the Brown Dining.
That's awesome. And as I think I've mentioned before on this show, last night Joan and I went again to French 75, which is it's like an art gallery, cocktail lounge, but two of our faculty were playing jazz, and we were talking about the jazz because they work with those students and they're getting them ready for the Christmas concert that you and I will both miss because we're going to be in Africa when the Christmas concert happens. So we were talking about that. So that makes me feel like I should go over and hear the Jazz Quartet in Gaffney. Anyway, we got other things to talk about.
Lots going on. All right, so before I introduce our guests, let me remind you that you can send a question into the conversation by using the Ask Us at lewisu.edu email there at the bottom of the list of the screen. And let me just remind you, we announced this last week and the week before, but we're really happy that the Philip Lynch Theatre presents Airness by Chelsea Markentel. Performances, as we said, starting tomorrow night through the 16th, and then again next weekend. And we're going to talk about this, but there's a preview tonight as well. We can kind of talk about what that means in a minute. Airness is a heartfelt comedy about a group of passionate air guitar competitors who discover that true victory comes from authenticity, friendship, and embracing one's inner rock star. Blends humor and heart to explore themes of identity, belonging, and transformative power of performance. So really excited to see that, and I'm really excited to introduce our three guests. Two of the actors in the play, as well as its director. I'll begin with Professor Calhoun, Annie Calhoun, who is in her 4th year at Lewis University as assistant professor of theater. She teaches acting, voice and diction, musical theater, performance, and theater for social change. She's about to open, this show is her 6th show that she has directed for Lewis, opening tomorrow night. And she's performed as an actor and improviser on stages in Los Angeles and Chicago, and has recently completed her 2nd MFA, this 2nd one in screenwriting. So, and then joined by 2 students who are featured actors in Airness, Kian Fan Morgan, a 1st-year student exploring psychology and theater as potential majors and minors, and Sydney Kazarowski is majoring in media production and theater with a minor in film. So, welcome
Sydney
to you all.
Playing her guitar right there.
Yeah, I know. I was distracted by that.
So,
were you laughing because I pronounced it right or wrong?
It was close enough.
Oh,
it was good.
Kazarowski.
It was right there.
Close enough.
Right there.
Kazarowski.
Kazarowski. There you go. Yeah.
Kazarowski.
I always get it wrong at the most important time.
And Kian, it's Kian.
Yes, Kian.
Kian.
See, I got that
Kian.
right.
Yeah.
So I know, Kian, you, I'd like to start with you because you have to go to a class at some point here. Yes. Which is good because people, and this is what I love about a place like Lewis, people go to class, they act, they're in clubs and organizations, they're in sports, they're in theater, they're doing all these things and they're trying to balance out their life.
Yes to every request.
They say yes to coming on our show,
Yeah.
which is awesome, Kian.
My pleasure.
So tell me a little bit about both your background and I guess, how much theater had you done before Lewis and what got you excited about being in plays here?
In general, I had always been very interested in doing theater, and when I finally started doing it was in my last 2 years of my high school.
Okay.
I did The Little Mermaid and then Shrek following, and from that I knew that this is like, even if it's not maybe the thing I want to do professionally, this is a thing I take a lot of interest in. I think it's very beautiful. I think there's a lot to be told through the stories on stage, and I think it's an amazing place and could be an amazing place to develop more connections and network with people.
That's great. That's great. So, is there something in this play? Because we'll get to all the things in the play. Because is this your first play at Lewis?
Second.
Okay. And do you think you will try to be on every play? Like, because that is, will you try out? Like, would you like to be in every play, or do you pick and choose? Like, I don't, as actors, because I'm that's not my thing. I haven't been involved in that. Do people pick and choose and say, yeah, I don't want to be in Shrek, but I want to be in Little Mermaid? Or are you one of the people who says, I want to be in everything. I don't really care what the topic is? Because we've had very different plays over the last 3 or 4 years, right? That cover all sorts of different topics, some of them very serious, some of them more funny. Does it matter to you, or do you just want to I want to be a part of this because I love these people?
My first thought is that when I go into a play, even if I don't know it before, I'm interested to figure out and piece together the puzzle of the play, because there's so many interesting parts that come from it. Not only, of course, the cast, but then the crew itself, and then the different aspects of the crew, and it just all really builds together. So personally, even if I don't look at it, I would like to, even if I'm not acting, do something that's a part of the play when I really do feel like it, and it's most of the time.
Yeah, it's great.
Andy, I wonder if you could talk a little bit about what that question from your perspective, as someone, I know it's a group of people who kind of manage the sequence of shows that we do year after year, and do you like having students, a kind of smaller group of actors who work in every play, or kind of come back in different, completely different roles every time, or do you like having many people involved?
That's a good question.
And practically speaking, I'm imagining people have to try out to be in the plays, and and they don't always get accepted
The
too.
part that they want.
Right. That's a great question. I think that, well, the beauty of a BA in theater is that you have to do all the parts. And whether one is your favorite or not, then you have this great empathy or understanding for the person that's designing something or building something. And so I think I love both aspects that run parallel, right? It's like really lovely to have like your core group of people that you're like, great, you're on the light board this time, awesome. Oh my God, you're the lead this time, let's support you there. And to have those stalwart folks, but I think it's really fun to have the one-off and two-off people who, my first show I directed here 3 years ago, there was a biology major, senior, and he was like, I'm on my way to med school, but I thought I'd audition for one. Yeah, and he played Scrooge, and he was like amazing in the radio. So I think both are lovely, and the revolving door is actually beautiful because it gives life and newness, to maybe the folks that are kind of doing the trench work for each show and stuff. Yeah.
Right. And it's all about kind of relationships too, I imagine. So just having 3 people being different in a group of 5 or 8 can change everybody, right?
And
So-
can I just ask, how many people are involved in creating a show? Like, what is it, because I probably should know this, but I don't. So is it 20, 10, 30, 40? And I'm talking about everything from taking the tickets, doing the lighting, doing the set. Like, what is this whole group of people?
Or just for
That's
this show,
involved.
because this show has 8 actors in it or something?
This one has 9 actors.
9 actors.
Yeah.
So
And then
in
probably,
addition to them, how many people are involved? Yeah.
I'd say most shows hover around 10 actors, give or take, right?
Yeah.
That we do. And then I'd say there's at least 10 students working backstage and in the booth. And then there's another 3 or 4 in the box office and ushering and house managing. So I would say probably on average 25 students.
Okay.
Yeah.
And would you have a sense, going back to Chris's question, of the ones that you've done, is it 15 core people and 10, one-timers, so to speak? Or is it 20 core people and 5 one-timers? How does that
more?
play out?
Ooh, it's different every time, but I'd say there's typically 5 to 10 on stage and off stage that are kind of consistently with us.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, I have a question for the 2 students. Sydney, you maybe go first. So I mentioned that you're both interested in other majors other than theater, and interested in theater as well. How does that, how do you just talk a little bit about how you think about that, and how you make those decisions about what to focus on, and how to include theater in your academic life and in your life here at Lewis?
My 2 majors kind of go hand in hand for what I want to go into, because I'm minoring in film as well, so I do want to sort of go into making movies and stuff like that.
Okay.
All of my professors are really lenient, and they know that I'm a double major, so they're super helpful. And if I'm saying, hey, I can't quite come to this because I have this other thing, but I can show up a little bit later, they're really good about all of that. And it's just really nice to have all of my professors be really
Flexible.
flexible.
Let me give you
and
that word.
thank you.
Not lenient.
and
They hold you to high standards
Yes.
while being
all
flexible
rigor
with
and
how
support.
you do it. Yeah,
Yeah.
there you
Yes.
go.
They're all very supportive, and they help me with things that, like if I'm falling behind in any way, they're really there to put the wind beneath my wings and
That's
just
awesome.
raise me up so I can
That's great.
be good in both aspects.
Kian, how about you?
Only a couple months into this journey.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's definitely going to change as time goes on.
Sure.
But I would say that in general, just how psychology really connects with theater is that I like to be very individual focused, not only on people just in general and mainly more like trauma associated, but also just when you can focus on the individuals, you then get a better understanding of what then comes together and makes the story for each and every play. And then of course that floods into backstage and crew. It's all these little parts. Appreciating all these very small parts has allowed me to gain more of an understanding, respect, and even now a like for being in a part of theater, and it's very beautiful to me.
That's great.
Yeah, and so this is, I guess, an extension somewhat of this, but so for students,
Yeah.
and
Bye, Kian.
Kian has to go to class, so thank you for being here.
My
so
pleasure.
if there are students watching who might be like, I'm not sure if I should do this, or that would be a big step for me because it's a little awkward.
Throw the question at me.
Yeah. No, this is what how do you think about inviting them in? If you could do a 2-minute commercial, like, come join us in a play. Give me that, and both of you can do that, but like, because I think that's what we want, right? We want people to take advantage. Not every school has a theater program. And what's great about having, I think, a theater major is that there are those 10 to 15 people that are always going to be there because they have to do all those parts. But how do we either invite somebody to think about being a major or invite them to be in a play and just discover this?
Yeah. Okay, I'll talk and then you talk. Well, I always say, like, if something's always been on your mind as like, wow, that's really cool, and it's only the fear that's in the way, then I really encourage people to like break through that and give it a try. We're very holistic, and we don't put people on the spot, and we scaffold, and so even if that's just I've always wanted to be in a play, don't leave college, without having tried the thing, because once you're in the world, it's still possible through community theater and other ways, but it's not like jumping up and down, like you guys are giving these wonderful announcements, right? And people are saying, hey, this thing is happening. And then I hate to say it's 100% guaranteed, but I'm going to say it because we're people, and things aren't perfect. But like I really do 100% guarantee that you will find something you didn't know about yourself, and that you can take with you into any profession. Because every profession has pressure, and a big part of theater is learning how to be relaxed and focused under pressure, and everybody has to interview typically for a job or do some aspect of a job, even though if it's tech or it's pretty solo, you have to collaborate, and you have to learn to give and take and let go of an idea sometimes, let somebody else. So there's that. And then in terms of the minor, it's 6 courses and a couple involvements with plays. It's very doable. And then the major is also a lower hour count, so you're able to double major, and it's possible to do that. And we have a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun.
That's what I guess I want to get at. I mean, before Cindy responds, because so I think we have to really take seriously that fear, and I'm wondering about the ability to, for lack of a better word, join that community without being on stage, because there are back to the house stuff, right? So I can just be a part of
100%.
this community of 25 people who are
Maybe
fun
that's how you
people.
start.
And for some people, that's the way I get past the fears. Like,
Just
let me
watching.
just be in the background and do the lighting or something before I have to jump on stage.
Sydney's a part of that, so I'm going to let Sydney tell the story.
Yeah.
So Sydney was in acting class in the spring with me, and in acting class we always have a lot of non-majors.
That's
So-
another way to get into
Yeah,
it, right?
yeah.
Is just take that class.
Yeah, take that class counts
Acting
as your
101,
arts.
right?
Yeah, acting 1. It counts as your arts credit. It also is experienced. It checks the box of the experiential learning, and so Sydney got in the ear of a student that was in that class, and you want to tell that story?
Yeah, he was in my acting class, and I thought he was really, really good, and I kind of hounded him down and was like, you should audition. You should really, really audition. You're really good. I think we could use you. And he's very busy, so he wasn't able to audition, but he is involved in lighting and he loves it. He constantly talks about how nice it is to like have such a strong community so quickly. Like we're all very welcoming, and he's fit right in, and he's mentioned how he wants to like continue to do something for every single play, which is something I do as well. I try and be involved in every play in some way.
That's awesome.
So he's doing the spotlight.
Yes.
Which is so fun, right? You get to follow.
Especially in this play. It
Yeah,
seems like,
right. So he gets to follow Sydney's air guitar with the follow spot, which is really fun and manual. And so shout out Donovan. Yeah.
So I want to emphasize something you said, Annie, and then ask Sydney a question. But I hear all the time people say, "Oh, I learned how to be a public speaker because I was an actor in college or whatever." And if you didn't do that, you have to learn it some other way. You know, and I said public speaker, but really everybody in every job has to present themselves sooner or later in a meeting or in front of a group of 30 or a group of 500. It doesn't matter. It's definitely something that these skills are tremendously useful. Okay, now I want to know about this play. So tell us about your role.
I play Nina. I'm the girl that joins air guitar for her own mission, and it's not really the usual mission. And it's just follows my journey of discovering like community and like why it actually is so important. I build a group of friends, and I'm like, oh, this is actually really cool.
That's great.
And it's really nice. And it's there, like Annie said, there is a lot of heart in it. It's not just a comedy. There's touching moments. It's really nice, I think, to play comedic and also have some drama aspects to my character. And it's really fun.
That's great.
Okay.
Go ahead, please.
I have to admit something. I don't really understand what it is. So I understand what air guitar is, but I don't understand, like, are there groups of people who get together to do it in life? And this is an example of that?
It is real. It is a real thing. I don't know if you guys know about like slap fights, how those are like also a real thing.
Also
Guess
don't
not.
know what
Okay.
that is. This is
air guitar.
confession time here. This is old
old man.
person profession.
Less old man, but still, yeah.
There are regional competitions that people go to, and there are rules. You have 2 rounds, and it's 60 seconds of a song you choose, and then round 2 is 60 seconds chosen by judges. You're judged on a scale from 4 to 6, and if you get high scores, you get to move on to the next round, and the final championships are in Finland, so you go international for it. Yeah.
Wow.
And it's like a whole thing. There's like a slogan for it. It's "Make air, not war," and it's really funny.
Yeah.
And it's all like she really lays out the exposition in the text, and it's all true. It's like these are all the real rules out in the real world.
So we'll learn about it when we go to the play. But
Yeah.
and then had you done it before?
No,
Okay.
I find it kind of funny because at the beginning I was like, air guitar, really? Like there's a play about it, which kind of relates to my character because my character is like,
you're
air guitar,
skeptical.
really?
Yeah.
Like this is a real thing.
Sydney's
Why not
the
just
fish
play
out
real
of
guitar?
water.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's sort of nice to have that little relation, but then as I've done the rehearsals and gone through the whole process, air guitar is really fun. And you watch the videos to do some research and you're like, wow, these people are really into it and they're like good at it. Like it's a skill almost. It's really cool to watch. And then you kind of the same thing with the process. You learn to love it as you go on, and then the show ends and you're like, oh, I'll miss it.
Yeah.
Sad to leave.
Yeah, that's great. I guess I'm interested, and I guess this is, we'll again start with you, Annie. Could you talk to me a little bit about the growth that you see in students from like, let's not even talk about years in school, but play 1 to play 5. And what, I guess what your role is in that, how you see a director's role in trying to take somebody from that like first play to their 5th play or whatever. Like, I don't know how many plays somebody, is on average in, but my guess is it's, 6 or 8 or something like that. So talk to me about that maturation process.
It's my favorite part of teaching, and so it's such a great question. It's like I'm an educator because of the growth that you get to see in people, And I have a really good friend who is an instructional coach in LA. And she said once, because I have these long commutes because I live in the city, and so we leave long voice messages, and she's a reading specialist, and she goes, I actually don't know, like, what, because I could diagnose somebody reading wise, right? Like at any age, what they need and support. And she's like, well, what do you watch somebody, and yeah, I have those skills, but in a performance level, right? So I'm looking at all these small and nuanced things. But I think what I said before was that people just joining in the first place, the biggest barrier is fear. So if the want is there, right?
Sure.
And it's the same thing on stage. I had a colleague once say that my job is just to move the fear out of the way, and that's it, So how do we do that? We start with My Wheelhouse's community. And building it in schools prior to Lewis and here. And so if we can create a space that's never going to be perfect, we're human, whatever, but we say things often like most generous interpretation of each other. People got here today and they got a lot going on. And so if you create a space that people feel courageous in, right? Because doing air guitar, even in a setting of courageous people, is different, and requires a lot of vulnerability, And so we do that through a lot of Viola Spolin, who was the kind of mother of improv in Chicago. She went on, her son started Second City. She has all of these exercises to kind of create community and create play. And so as a director, I don't micromanage or joystick direct. We have games to help us find moments. So there's a moment in the script where two characters have a long history of relationship and they're having an argument. And we played the game Contact, which is on every line you have to make physical contact, and we create parameters and we give consent. So it's like our elbow to our this is not our elbow, this is our shoulder, our shoulder to our hand, and we say, okay, cool. And so every line they had to do this elbow to elbow or a little poke, and we actually end up using a lot. That's a game, right?
Yeah, but it leads to other things.
But then we're like, oh, now it seems like each other. We played a game to kind of get there, and so by using play to break down fear is kind of what I've studied and do. And so, yeah, man, watching show 1 to 5. It's this third show for Sydney, right? It's your third one? You appeared on screen in Cyclone.
Yes.
We worked together your first year. And even by show 3, and especially having a character that she gets to play that has an arc. So we talked a lot about ooh, what a cool journey this gets to be, right? It's not just 2 scenes you're in, but you're like, how is Nina at the beginning to the end? And Sydney grows as Nina grows, Right. And so, and a lot of that, Sydney, correct me if I'm wrong, is our own doubts get in the way of our head and their own. And so it's just, I'm just the fear kicker out of the way, or sometimes it's you have all the skills, and right, we can list the skills: voice and speech, pitch, rate, and volume. There's all of the intellectualizing of this, but it really kind of comes down to Sydney feeling free to play.
Right.
I have 2 really important questions I need to ask, and I know we're running out of time. So I'm gonna monopolize. Annie, I suspect this is maybe something I do understand a little bit, but other people may not. What does a director of a play do? Because I think people they watch TV and they see directors on TV of films and TV, and they're sitting there with their hats and they're yelling cut, and so people. I don't think a director of a play is not ever visible to people.
Right, right. We have to time manage because they need to get to the end. And so we have to have both sides of the brain working, the creative side and the I better plan rehearsals so that Sydney feels confident by the time we get to this week, and not Annie, you didn't schedule this scene or this scene. And then so we manage what scenes we do in each rehearsal. And then the way that the blocking is the word for where people move on the stage. I let them read it once, and I tell them to move when they feel like they should move, or when there's a tone shift, or and then I give feedback as the audience, as the director, and then we talk about timing if there's comedy. And I say cliche stuff sometimes with a wink of faster, louder, right? Because if it's comedy, we have to do it faster, and we have to hear you. So I represent the audience, and I tell them if I'm sitting in the back row here, I missed this. But I also represent, I can help 2 people navigate a really complex argument so that people feel good and have fun doing it, even though it sounds yelly and it's just an intense moment.
That's really helpful.
Yeah.
It's really helpful. Can I just ask a little follow-up, because you mentioned, so you are the audience. How much are you also representing or trying to stay true to the author of the play? Like how much is that, how important is that to you as a director? Because I assume different directors, feel compelled to like take seriously the intention of the author, and there's other people who could care less about the intention of the author.
Yeah.
The words, can we play with the words? How much can we play with the words?
You want to speak to that?
Words we don't really touch. We leave it to the script. Even if it's little like improv stuff, you really just sort of you don't make it your own, because there's a reason why the author wrote it that way. Stuff that we can change is like how we want the set to look, unless it says specifically in the play like you need confetti for this. But it sort of just depends on like what you have the resources for. But generally speaking, blocking can also be different. Dialogue stays the same, because that's what you get from the character. You have to build the character from the dialogue. So that's what the character is, and you don't want to change the character because then it changes the play.
That's great. Really interesting, and that kind of relates to my question I wanted to ask you as well. There's a lot of energy that film and television, especially nowadays, gets, and theater is this incredible, 3,000-year-old art form, or whatever it is. You mentioned Second City. Chicago is a super renowned city for the history of theater. But how do you think about it as a student who's studying film, studying broadcasting, studying what's different about being on stage, and how does that? What you just said is actually one part of the beginning of the answer to that question. But
I think both of them have their beauties. I really do love that theater will never be the same. Every time you watch it, there will be something else, and it's live. I love that it's live, and you can see people, and you can feel it, and you're with an audience watching it. So I think that's really special about theater. Television, I like that you can sort of do your own thing. In a lot of my classes, I have the creative liberty to do my own news stories and stuff like that, and it's really nice to find it on my own and find the stories that I like and kind of shoot footage how I want it to be and how I want it to come across. But yeah, I think both really have their own unique things. I like that in film you can watch them over and over again and find different things in it. Yeah, you can find the different details easier because you don't have to pay to keep watching the same show over and over again. But both bring their own things and both give different things to the audience, and I think they're both really special to keep around.
That's great. All right,
so I have one more question, then we have to be done. Is that all right?
Yeah.
All right, one more question. So I'm very interested in this arc of the character and fear. You talked a lot about fear today. So it seems like there's an issue for me about acting afraid when you've gotten past fear.
Oh, if the character's afraid?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, it seems like, for instance, if you become confident of doing air guitar, but you have an arc of it, at the beginning of the play, you have to act as if you actually are awkward, afraid of doing it, even though you're no longer afraid of doing it. So I'm just wondering about that, because it feels like once we get rid of fear, sometimes it's hard to act afraid or nervous because we're no longer nervous, or we're differently nervous.
Yeah, that's a great point. Well, we had to talk with the cast because we did get so comfortable, because we were on time in our prep, that people did start to create a little extra. And then we had to kind of go, here's where you, like Steve was saying, you can change how you say it, but we got to stay within the story and within the intention of the playwright. But, how do you do that?
I mean,
you want to
I'm
talk? She has to do that.
Of the play
how do you
that I'm going to see tonight, you're acting in a way that is I feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yes.
And by the end of the play, you are very comfortable. But now you're really comfortable. But you got to act like you're not. I don't know if that is.
No, that's what you got to do.
The being put on display is always a little. I mean, I don't care that much. I'm not super afraid, but it's still a little nerve-wracking. I think every time, especially this is our first time with an audience, so there are the nerves of, I hope everyone likes it.
Right.
It is nice to have lights blinding you and then also the audience be dark, so you can kind of feel like you're in your own space. I have little mannerisms that I do when I'm nervous already, so I kind of just do those for my character.
You draw on those.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think I just act nervous because sometimes I could be nervous.
Right.
I think
it's not that hard to act.
I think I'm a pretty nervous person sometimes, and so I don't.
Yeah. That's fair.
That makes sense.
There is one thing though that I try to keep with me that I'm gonna also take from the show, and it's one line in the show. There is a character that their job works close with people that have passed, and they're telling me how they got into air guitar because there's all these other things in the world, but when you get on the stage, why not be as silly as you want? And that has helped me gain some confidence throughout the show of like, why not look stupid playing air guitar? It's gonna be fun for people.
Sure,
it's gonna be fun for me. It's gonna be fun for others. And so I think that's something that I'm still working through. Still working through to why not be as silly as you want. And yeah, I think that's what I'm keeping in mind.
Yeah, that's great. No, it's really great. All right, so I know we gotta end.
Let me just say thank you. Let me say to you that it's never too late to take acting classes, even especially when you're retired.
Probably that's true. I could.
Stop in on a class.
Just dropping that seed now.
It's a very good seed.
Seed planting.
Seed planting. Sydney and Annie, I am so grateful that you came into the show today. It's really great, and I'm looking forward to the play tonight. Again, tonight is kind of a dress rehearsal, not a, I don't know if we call it a real
Not the
official
official
show.
opening.
It's like an open door rehearsal.
Yeah.
So people can.
So some
can
people, faculty and staff, swing in and try to give you an audience to have your last rehearsal on. All right, so thank you, everybody. I want to say thank you to everyone that's watching. Another great show. Again, we have so much going on, but I wish all of you a wonderful rest of the week. Many blessings to you and all those that you love.